let's get into the Great American Bash. It was okay. It felt like a show that could have taken place on television. And I said this in my NXT review, that the Great American Bash this year should have been on television. It should have been a TV special. This is something that we should have gotten on this upcoming Tuesday. That's what the Great American Bash should have been. The show was okay. It did go head-to-head with AEW All In. This was not a long show. This was like a little over 2 hours, which is fine, and that's good. And again, this is something that could have taken place on television. But, it is what it is. They were able to get the center stage venue sold out. So I think it was $750. It looked like it. Again, TNA's performed in there many a times over the years. Well, within the last 5-6 years, they've been there a good bit. But, center stage is an okay venue. I know people still hate on the partnership of TNA and NXT, but I think it's still rather good. But yeah. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night / first match of the afternoon. Javon Evans defeats Jasper Troy. This was a really decent match. Javon was more so the veteran, even though he's been wrestling for 4 or 5 years, something like that. A little bit longer. I think he's been wrestling since he was 14. So he's been wrestling for about 6 years. So that's relatively young. But he's been on the indie circuit and all that stuff and everything else. I think he did a couple of stints in AEW back when AEW still had AEW Dark. And he did good there. But this match was fairly decent. A lot of power moves that Jasper Troy did. Jasper Troy ended up throwing Javon Evans over the top rope and almost broke his fucking ribs, which was insane. That was a pretty cool little spot there. So Jasper Troy, he went for the Black Hole Slam, but then Javon Evans reversed it into a roll-up for the 1, 2, 3, which makes perfect sense. It really was not that bad. I actually enjoyed it. This was a pretty good way to start the show. But honestly, I wish that Inamura and Oba Femi started the show, for being honest. I gotta put that out there. Moving on. So we get a video package from Jada Parker. She's hyping up Evolution. Okay, cool. Then we get an Instagram story from Stacks that aired, where he created a list on the indies. Of people he wants to embarrass in the ring as the NXT Heritage Cup champion. He put out a challenge online for the Heritage Cup for Albert, aka Matt Bloom, because he responded, "I'm in. I'm in too." So Stacks confronts Bloom in the Performance Center, and Bloom has no idea what he's talking about. Matt Bloom says it wasn't him. He must have been hacked, but he warns Stacks to keep his head on the swivel as Stacks realized someone stole his Heritage Cup. So that's cool. I wonder who stole it. We don't know. Interesting stuff there. Moving on. So before Ruca had her match, she had an interview with Sarah Schreiber. So she put over her performance on SmackDown, which was good. So that's good there. And then we had a glitch of Darkstate. So you know what that means. So who cares? Again, I'm not a fan of Darkstate anymore. I'm just not. I don't care. So this leads us into Izzy Dame versus Ruca for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Ruca retains. Very good match. Ruca wins via the Soul Snatcher. So Tatum Paxley got involved towards the end of the match. and she got Izzy Dame's foot on the ropes. So this pissed off Zarya. Zarya speared the shit out of her. And, that was that. So, this makes sense. Again, I'm just waiting for Zarya to turn on Soul Ruca. It needs to happen. It may happen at Evolution, maybe. Or it could happen this upcoming Tuesday on NXT. But it's bound to happen at some point. But it needs to happen sooner rather than later. We got to get those two ladies feuding over that championship. It's got to happen. Moving on. So Lola Vice, she had an Instagram story, and she declared that she's going to win the Battle Royal at Evolution. Okay, cool there. All right, this leads us into Mariah May and Jordynne Grace. So Mariah told her Muscle Muffin she had a relaxing appetizer planned before their match. So that was pretty cool there. So cool. Moving on, this leads us into Ricky Saints, a.k.a. Ricky Starks, versus Ethan Page. Falls Count Anywhere for the North American Championship. They fought all over the venue. They fought in the backstage. They fought in the crowd and everything else. They brought in the concession stand. So Ricky Saints ended up hitting a couple of cool spots in the match. He ended up putting the finish came when so hold on, wait, I'm sorry. So Jasper Troy was somehow still out there. So he accidentally bumped into Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy chokeslammed the shit out of Ricky Saints. And then All Ego got Saints into the Rager's Edge, and he powerbombed him off the stage onto 4 tables, 1, 2, 3. And so Ethan Page wins. Now, I am pissed about this. I am. Because I wanted Ricky Saints to win and end this feud. But it does make sense. It seems like they're still trying to push Jasper Troy. So what better way to push Jasper Troy than to work with Ricky Saints? This is great. This makes perfect sense. But we have got to get the North American Championship off of Ethan Page. Ethan Page does not need to be on the main, does not need to be in NXT anymore. He needs to be on the main roster, preferably SmackDown. He needs to be on the main roster. It's time. It's time. I like what he's doing with the Vanity Project. That's cool shit, but we don't need him on NXT anymore. To me, he's been there long enough. And at some point in time, you've got to move him on. So, there's that. But I am excited for the Ricky Saints Jasper Troy feud. That should be interesting. Moving on, we get the contract signing. And Ava was officiating it. Ugh. So, basically, none of the guys said anything. So, Santana said he didn't take moments like this for granted. He said that the TNA Championship means something to him, and that Trick takes it for granted. To Santana, it represents the hustle, the grind, and dedication, respect deserved of a champion. Santana says that next week we're going to find out Hollywood Trick is all sizzle and no steak. Then he talks to Joe Hendry and said that he respects what he does for the company. So he says that Joe Hendry is in his way of the title, so he has to do what he has to do. He said he'll be the man to bring the title back to its roots. And then that was it. So, Joe Hendry gets involved. And he appreciates that Mike Santana wants to bring the championship back to its roots. But he wants to get back to doing what he's doing, taking TNA back to unprecedented heights like he was doing as champion. So he turns his focus to Trick. He says, people always do his dirty work but at Summerversary, There'll be nobody to protect him. It's not his house. He's behind enemy lines, and he'll make Trick believe in Joe Hendry. And so Trick Williams said that it's still going to be Trick and A. He don't need nobody to help him out. This ain't about making people believe or making promises to their daughter. It's about getting the job done. As the greatest TNA champion of all time. So AJ Styles chant broke out. That was pretty cool there. It's still Trick and A, and it'll always be Trick and A. So then Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, they powerbombed Trick Williams through the table. So that was okay there. So and then the two of them stared each other down. And then Joe Hendry grabbed the title belt, and that was it. So, that's a pretty cool segment there. But again, this is something that could have taken place on television, if we're being honest. But that makes me wonder, what's next for Trick Williams once he loses come next Sunday? Now, I don't think he's going to necessarily lose, per se. I think Joe Hendry's going to be the one to take the pin next week at Slammiversary. But what does Trick Williams do going forward? I would assume maybe he goes after Oba Femi. So maybe that could be what's next for Trick Williams. So then the screen, it glitches again. And then Darkstate, they attack Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Okay, who cares? Moving on. So Tony D'Angelo, he's standing on a bridge at night talking about how he brought Stax, Rizzo, and Luke into the family, and how they became a success story, and how the whole thing imploded due to ego and broken trust. He then tells Stax that he's bringing him a gift to NXT next week, as he heralded the stolen NXT Heritage Cup with a bridge into the water. Okay, that's cool there. All right, this leads us into Oba Femi versus Inamura. Oba Femi defeats Inamura. I don't care about this at all. I just don't. This was a waste of time. So I think Josh Briggs got involved. He distracted the ref. He rolled up Oba Femi, but Oba kicked out, and then Oba hit the fall from grace for the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's fine. And then next week on NXT, it's going to be... No, my bad. So Ava, backstage, she accused Trick of colluding with Darkstate backstage. So she's going to make a 6-man tag for next week. It's going to be Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, and Trick Williams versus Darkstate. She said prove that he's not working with Darkstate. Okay, that's fine there. All right, moving on. So this leads us into Oba Femi. He was interviewed by Sarah Schreiber on his win. So Inamura walked in and thanked him for the fight. He said he's sorry that Briggs, he's sorry about Briggs interfering. Oba said he'll give him a rematch where Briggs won't be involved. He deserves it. And then him and Oba Femi have a brawl, that being Josh Briggs and Oba Femi. This shit sucks. I am not a fan of Josh Briggs. Oba Femi deserves better. Oba Femi deserves way better than this. This is garbage. This is absolute garbage. Not good. Not good at all. Moving on, let's lead us into the main event of the evening. Fatal Influence, Jacy Jayne, and Fallon Henley, they were defeated by Mariah May, a.k.a. Blake Monroe, and Jordynne Grace. Match was pretty okay. It still felt like a TV match, if we're being honest. I thought that Mariah was going to turn heel on to Jordynne, but it didn't happen. So towards the end of the match, Jasmine Nix, she got involved, and then Masha from TNA showed up, Masha Stanovich, that is, which was great. Got a really good reaction. A brawl breaks out, and basically, the referee throws out, the other girls, and then this allowed for Mariah to hit the DDT on Jacy Jayne for the 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's fine. This makes sense. Again, I imagine that once Jordynne Grace wins at Evolution, that's when. Well, no, we can't do the turn there because she still has to wrestle at Slammiversary. the week after. So I don't know. But they are going to turn Mariah May heel eventually. It's just going to be a slow heel turn, which is great. So I do like this. Mariah May looked good here. Same with Jordynne Grace. So, there's that. All in all, though, the Great American Bash was okay. But it just felt like something that would have belonged on TV. All of the stuff that happened could have easily taken place on a regular episode of NXT on the CW, but it didn't. So, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm sort of kind of excited for NXT this week coming up. But what did you guys think of Great American Bash? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.